The Mojave Desert is home to miles and miles of deserted city streets, the tallest skyscraper in the world that has been abandoned, and a ghost city that is eerily desolate and has hundreds of identically built but abandoned houses. Welcome to Unleash Billions, the channel dedicated to exploring the lives and business strategies of the most successful entrepreneurs and business leaders in the world. So join us as we uncover the secrets of the billionaires and learn how you can unleash your own success. Let's get started. California City. California's third largest city by geographical size is located in one of the driest and harshest regions of the country. California City, which might cover up to 500 square kilometers in the Mojave Desert, is an unsuccessful attempt to build the country's next major metropolis that could compete with Los Angeles or New York. Nathan K. Mendelsohn is credited as being the founding father of the city. Mendelsohn was a sociology professor at Columbia University who was born in the Czech Republic and specialized in village and town planning. Economic growth soared in California following World War II. The state regularly got federal cash because it has numerous military bases and defense infrastructure. In search of greater possibilities, hundreds of thousands of people then began to move to California. Mendelsohn bought 30,000 hectares of land in the Mojave Desert in 1958 because he wanted to be a part of this explosive growth. His goal was to turn this desolate wasteland into a busy suburban paradise that could compete with Los Angeles, which was only 150 kilometers away. Why then did Mendelsohn choose to establish his city in the middle of a desert? Two causes were involved. First, desert land was extremely affordable when it was remote from major cities like San Francisco or Los Angeles. Second, after finding that there was an underground lake, Mendelsohn decided to build his metropolis on this specific piece of land in the desert. In a region where water was scarce, this groundwater would have been able to meet the entire city's demands on its own. A central park and an artificial lake that would act as a city's focal point were developed in order to lure potential buyers to buy land and homes. Around this time, numerous additional amenities were built, including 2 golf courses and a 4-story motel next to the park. Together with all the infrastructure improvements, Mendelsohn published frequent advertisements about California City in the Los Angeles Times throughout the early 1960s. But despite all of Mendelsohn's development and promotion efforts to help the city expand to millions and millions of residents, 7 years after it had first appeared, there were only a little over 800 people living there. Empty lots of land dot the arid environment, making up a large portion of the city's territory. From above, California City may appear to be your typical American rural town, but there are still signs of the ambitious past of the city. To the east of the city, much of the area is still undeveloped. The skeletal framework of Mendelsohn's imagined metropolis is formed by a vast, worthless grid of dirt roads. The plumbing system from the 1960s is still in place, but is now very expensive for the local authorities to maintain. Even if Mendelsohn's dream did not materialize, California City is once again becoming a hot topic due to a resurgence of curiosity about its distinctive past. The city's history has captured the attention of online publications, artists, and photographers. The future of this unfinished city is uncertain, and as of right now, much of California City is still just a wasteful megaproject in the middle of the desert. The tallest abandoned building in the world. The Golden Financial 117 in Tianjin, China, is the tallest vacant building in the world, with a staggering height of 600 meters, a record that China, in all honesty, never intended to hold. But had it ever been finished, the tower would have surpassed its final abandonment to rank 3rd in China and 6th overall in terms of height. The initial draft of the tower's building plans was made in the early 2000s when many Chinese citizens were vying for recognition and glory abroad by developing their infrastructure quickly. Billionaire Pat Sutong, chairman of the Hong Kong-based investment firm Golden Financial Holdings, was the brains behind the initiative. The focal point of Golden Metropolitan, a 1.8 square kilometer upscale residential and commercial zone situated just outside of downtown Tianjin, was to be Golden Financial 117. Several residential and commercial buildings, in addition to the centerpiece skyscraper, were planned for the region. The tower would have 128 stories above ground, 117 of which would be divided between residential and commercial uses. The 11 additional floors are reserved for operational and mechanical systems. The design for Golden Financial 117 also called for a 3-story building with a distinctive diamond-shaped roof. At a height of 580 meters above the ground, this area would hold the highest observation deck, swimming pool, and restaurant in the world. The tower's construction started in 2008 and it is expected to be finished in 2014. The tower's development was halted in early 2010, just after the global financial crisis. Golden had to temporarily cut costs elsewhere and the tower's construction was put on hold because he had a lot of other assets and investments in the West to take care of. As the market eventually steadied, work on the tower restarted in 2011 and it was then planned to debut in 2018. The skyscraper structure was ultimately completed in September 2015 when it was finally topped out. The Golden firm and Sutong would have had reason to celebrate, but sadly, things were about to get out of hand. The Chinese stock market crashed in June 2015 and Golden's share price fell by as much as 67%. Sutong lost as much as $13 billion as a result of the crisis despite having a sizable investment in the company. The building was destined to fail from the start of construction 14 years ago. Everything about the project, including the upscale amenities and the thought of residing in one of the world's highest buildings, depicted Golden Finance 117 as a luxurious residence, something intended for the wealthy elite. Even if the project had been finished, Tianjin couldn't have supported the skyscraper's intended market. Nearby residents couldn't actually afford what the project was trying to offer. And it's doubtful that wealthy Chinese would have traveled from afar to Tianjin merely to live in a tower that tall. The structure is still unfinished as of right now. The project's contractor has entirely left the job site, taking all personnel and tools with them. A useless piece of concrete that has never been occupied, the Golden Financial 117 is now perched high over Tianjin and is likely to remain so for many years to come. Burj Albabas. Located in northwest Turkey, a fascinating yet unsettling site may be found just south of the charming city of Mudurnu. Without a person in sight, the rocky landscape is dotted with hordes of abandoned chateau-style residences. Burj Albabas was intended to be a posh residential complex catering to wealthy oil executives, but it was never completed. The apartment complex was under construction when it was first announced in 2014, and it was expected to be finished in 4 years. These identical-looking villas were to be built in a total of 732 units and would be rented or sold to affluent people. Each villa would have 3 floors, its own balcony, a spiral staircase leading to it, traditional Turkish decor, and the opportunity for owners to add an indoor pool in the basement. The concept additionally included a central shopping area with stores, dining options, salons, cinemas, and mosques. The construction location for the Burj Albabas is also situated above a geothermal spring on top of all of that. As one of the many facilities the project promised its potential buyers, a classic Turkish bath was thus planned to be built above the hot springs. According to reports, each property cost between $400,000 and $500,000. The thought was that the project's target market, wealthy Gulf investors, would be interested in the properties. The project initially appeared to be progressing rather well, with investors having already provided funding for about half of all the homes. Yet by 2018, just 587 of the 732 villas that were originally slated to be built had actually been put up. The business behind the Burj Albabas found itself $27 million in debt and in deep danger, with the project estimated at $200 million and little to no sales that actually went through. Burj Albabas is still a deserted settlement in the midst of northwest Turkey's gorgeous scenery. No villa has ever been completely built, and the project has been abandoned for 3 years. The project was abandoned so long ago that some of the numerous homes are now collapsing and being gradually destroyed by nature. After Burj Albabas building ceased 3 years ago, no other developer has dared to take the project forward. Throughout the coming years, the project's fate is still up in the air. The land will remain unoccupied for the time being, with just thousands of villas that all look the same. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Unleash Billions. What are your thoughts about these mega projects? Do you think they would ever be finished? Please share with us in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest content. Remember, success is within your reach, so unleash your inner billionaire. Until next time, we'll see you in the next video.